Chapter 1. Shadows and Sunstone. Dia's Infiltration. The air hung thick with the scent of sunstone and dust, a peculiar fragrance that clung to the very fabric of the Sunstone fortress. Dia, cloaked in shadows as deep and impenetrable as the midnight sky, moved through the labyrinthine corridors like a wraith. Each step was measured, each breath controlled, her very presence muted by the intricate weave of her nightshade magic. The fortress, a monument to the Sunstone Kingdom's power, was a dazzling spectacle of gleaming, sun-infused architecture. Walls pulsed with an inner light, casting long, ethereal shadows that seemed to dance and writhe around her, a stark contrast to the inky blackness that clung to her like a second skin. This radiant edifice, a testament to the sun's life-giving energy, was a world away from the shadowed forests and whispering glades that were home to her coven. Her mission was simple, brutally efficient: retrieve the obsidian shard, a relic of immense power steeped in ancient magic. The shard was the key to unlocking the Nightshade Coven's next phase of power, a power they believed would tip the scales in their centuries-long war against the Sunstone Kingdom. But the acquisition wouldn't be easy. The fortress was a nexus of powerful wards and watchful guards, each imbued with the potent magic of the sun. Dia's first challenge came in the form of a complex magical ward woven into the very stone of the corridor. It shimmered with an almost imperceptible energy, a subtle barrier designed to detect intruders. For lesser shadow warriors, it would have been an insurmountable obstacle, but Dia, a master of her craft, simply flowed around it. Her magic, born of shadows and honed by years of rigorous training, allowed her to slip through the ward's weave as effortlessly as water flowing around a rock. She felt a faint tingle, a brush of the ward's energy against her skin, but it was nothing she couldn't handle. Further on, she encountered a patrol of Sunstone guards, their armor gleaming like polished gold under the fortress's internal illumination. They moved with a practiced ease, their footsteps barely disturbing the stillness. Dia, however, was a whisper of movement in the shadows. She used her magic to blend seamlessly with the darkness, becoming invisible to their eyes, her presence utterly swallowed by the depths of the night she carried within her. She watched them pass, their vigilant eyes searching but seeing nothing, oblivious to the shadow that passed them by. The closer Dia got to Lysanders' chambers, the more intense the magical energy became. It felt like a palpable pressure, a weight pressing down upon her. The air crackled with anticipation, a silent hum that vibrated against her skin. This was the heart of the fortress, the very center of the Sunstone's power, a place where magic throbbed and pulsed, a place where even her potent shadows felt thin and fragile. Yet she pressed on, her determination unwavering. The obsidian shard was within her grasp, and nothing would stop her from claiming it, or so she believed. As she reached the final corridor, a sense of unease settled upon her. This wasn't the sterile, predictable environment she had anticipated. The air here thrummed with a different kind of magic, a warmth that didn't quite match the fortress's sun-infused aura. A soft melody, almost imperceptible, drifted from behind the heavy oak door at the end of the hall, a sound that felt alien and strangely captivating. She paused, her hand hovering over the ornate doorknob, her instincts screaming caution. She had expected a battle, she had prepared for a battle. But this felt different. Gathering her courage, she pushed open the door. The scene that unfolded before her was far removed from the images of brutal conflict she had envisioned. The room was large, bathed in the soft glow of the setting sun that filtered through a single arched window. Instead of weapons and armed guards, she found a vibrant garden, a small oasis of life and color in the heart of the formidable fortress. Luminous sunflowers, their petals radiating a gentle golden light, filled the space, their beauty a stark contrast to the cold stone of the fortress. And in the center of this unexpected garden stood Lysander. Lysander, the Sunstone warrior, was unlike anything Dia had ever imagined. He was tall and powerfully built, his physique radiating strength and resilience. His features were sharp and angular, his eyes the color of warm honey, conveying both a deep intensity and an underlying vulnerability. He was clad in simple, unadorned clothing, a far cry from the ornate armor she had anticipated. He was tending to the sunflowers, his movements gentle and deliberate, as if he were handling precious gems. His hands, calloused yet surprisingly delicate, touched the petals with a reverence that spoke volumes about his character. Their gazes met, and the air crackled with unspoken tension. Dia, prepared for a confrontation, found herself momentarily disarmed. This wasn't the brutal enemy she had been trained to expect. Lysander, surprised by her presence, didn't react with immediate hostility. Instead, his eyes, filled with a mixture of surprise and suspicion, held a depth of emotion that was both intriguing and unnerving. A brief, silent standoff followed. They assessed each other, two warriors from opposing sides, caught in a moment of unexpected intimacy. The setting sun cast long, dancing shadows across the room, highlighting the stark contrast between their worlds, the dark, brooding shadows that clung to Dia, and the radiant, warm glow that emanated from Lysander and his sun-kissed garden. The air hung heavy with unspoken words, with years of hatred and mistrust, yet beneath it, an undercurrent of something else, something new and unexpected, began to stir. The obsidian shard, cold and heavy against Dia's chest, pulsed faintly, sensing the shift in the magical currents. It was as if the very air itself held its breath, anticipating the next move, the next word, the next touch. The silence felt pregnant with possibility, a fragile truce in a war that had lasted for centuries, and in that silence, a sunflower bloomed, not just in the garden, but in the heart of Dia's unexpected enemy.